Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I want to talk to you about this book here, which is Trapped in the Web. It is by a writer called A.N. Turner, who claims to be a former industry insider. And he wants to tell you all about how he liberated himself from internet addiction and how you can do it too. This is part of a series where I'm reading 10 books on internet addiction, trying to dig up the nuggets, find the solutions, paint a picture of what it is that we're up against and what we're dealing with on a daily basis so that we can help people, because this problem is not going away. It is ubiquitous. It is everywhere. We are all at risk, regardless of age, race, gender, religion. Maybe the Amish, maybe they've kind of insulated themselves a little bit from this. But for the rest of us, we've got a fairly significant problem on our hands. And so this is book 1 out of the 10 that I'm reading. So the book was published in 2018, and it starts with a quote from Franz Kafka, which is, "The truth is always an abyss. One must, as in a swimming pool, dare to dive from the quivering springboard of trivial everyday experience and sink into the depths in order to later rise again, laughing and fighting for breath, to the now doubly illuminated surface of things." That's a great point, great way to open the book. The idea that the mainstream is called a stream because it's shallow, right? You can't really drown in the mainstream. You're very safe. It's very comforting. It's reassuring. Everyone's hanging out there, and you're not really at risk. When you go off searching for truth, looking to the real root causes of things, what's really going on and how we can make a difference and improve our own lives and the lives of the people that we care about, it's a little trickier. There's a lot of misdirection out there. There's a lot of dead ends. There's a lot of cul-de-sacs. There's a lot of false leads. And so diving down into the depths of what is true in order to discover it for yourself, I think is admirable. It takes bravery, it takes courage. Well played to you for being here and doing just that. But I think it's a good quote to open up with. The book is dedicated to young adults who, Turner says, are victims of a social experiment gone wildly awry. The main focus of the book is actually to do with pornography and its total ease of access, right? The only thing you have to do to access explicit materials online is to click a box that says, "Yes, I am 18 years old." And apparently people who are under 18 will not have the deceitful nature to lie at this juncture when they are asked this question, right? Which is ridiculous. That tells you kind of where the book's going. But the first, I would say, half of the book doesn't focus exclusively on pornography at all. It deals with screen addiction and internet addiction in general. Part 1 is called The Internet and Social Media. There's just a little bit of an intro and foreword before that. So the book's written, it's sort of like a series of blog posts. And I have a feeling maybe these were blog posts at some point and he's just smooshed them all together into a book. But he starts off by saying this is a problem that affects everybody. And he talks about an army of designers and data crunchers who spend their working lives figuring out ways to make us stay plugged in longer. It's a really good analogy to be using, this one of the army, because I think this situation is best viewed through the lens of warfare. It is a sort of active war to get everybody docile and dependent upon these screens and lazy and addicted to using them in order to get their hits of dopamine and serotonin more easily, more readily available, and with less effort than, say, going out and actually achieving meaningful things in the world that take patience and time and dedication. So it is an act of war, and it has been done on purpose. I don't believe for one second that it's an accidental situation we found ourselves in. I think the social engineers of the world controllers, as Aldous Huxley refers to them, have unleashed this Pandora's box of addictive, quick hit dopamine fixes upon the world very much on purpose. So I was happy to see that he refers to them as an army. Then the other recurring theme is he refers to the creature called Scylla, which is from the book The Odyssey. There's a creature called Scylla, and Scylla is a monster of endless appetite. It's a giant creature that exists only to devour and eat. It has no soul, no thoughts, nothing but a gaping mouth and an infinite capacity for consumption. And he likens the internet to this creature. He says it's everywhere. It's the first thing we check when we wake up, and it's the last thing we look at before we go to sleep. We are feeding the beast all day, every day. And I think that's a really good way of looking at it, is all the time and attention that you pour into your screen, all of that is sucked up and is never coming back. Your time and attention are the most valuable resources you have and that you will ever have. You're never going to be able to reclaim them once you have invested them, right? And I don't like to use like wasting time, killing time, spending time. You're investing it, and you're going to get some sort of return for that investment. And if that investment is made without due care and consideration for how it's being, where it's going, then the return you're going to get might be less than satisfactory, just to put it mildly. He says, through some simple and not so simple behavioral changes, the author believes we can become more useful, more productive, and more independent and truly happy. So there are going to be solutions in the book, which is good. We don't want to just read a book that's describing the problem and not offering any way out. And he ends the intro by saying, I explore two central questions. How are new digital technologies reducing productivity? And how can we reshape our digital relationships so we can improve ourselves for the betterment of society at large? And I'll give you a little sort of preview of the end, the very final words of the book. He says, you are the resistance. So continuing on with that theme of warfare and being pitted against an army of people whose job it is to make sure you squander as much of your time and attention as possible. It's a good thread that he weaves throughout the whole of the book.